Welcome to ANN, the Agon News Network. I'm Talith Maidwillow. This is where we bring you the latest happenings from around Agon. A new initiative has been started by Darkfall's own Justiful, who's calling the project Darkfall University. It aims to be open to the entire community as a training and education resource. He's looking to recruit professors, experts in specific aspects of play, to teach students and give them a better chance of surviving in Agon. He's also planning to integrate a mentor system, which will allow students to pair up with mentors, getting them out of the NPC cities and out into the world at large. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. Agon is starting to burn, and the fire is starting at its center. Spread all across the world are village control points that can be captured, and will provide rewards as long as you control them. These control points are contested frequently, but the most intense fights are happening at the heart of Agon. Many clans have taken holdings here to contest these villages. If you're looking to prove your worth, bring your best to a center map village and see how you fare. As for the housing boom, Namlet has been thrown into the spotlight as one of the most popular sea villages to place a house in, sporting beachfront property on Skull Island. The ever-popular Aldenfau will likely feel the real estate rush as well. Villages on Cairn and Ruby have historically been strong choices in the past, but will they hold up to the popularity of the new Chaos housing plots, or will new homebuyers be pushed to find something more personally tailored? Turning now to politics, the initial land rush by clans and alliances resulted in a surprisingly widespread distribution of hamlet and city holdings. Border disputes have been frequent, and while sieges are being fought with increasing frequency, no major wars are broken out just yet. Yassam and Rubaiyat saw some early sieges, and while the sieges on Niflheim have been growing in size and intensity, Cairn is an outright war zone. The subcontinents in Darkfall are extremely lucrative, sporting some of the best dungeons and monster spawns in Agon. Historically, they have been hotly contested, with the strongest alliances attempting to lock down the subcontinents for a chance at unassailable wealth. Question on the minds of many, is history going to repeat itself? ANN correspondent Sobad Strange is reporting from Cairn and the events that have unfolded there so far.
Shortly after launch, a coalition was formed between the clans Brutal, Instinct, ANG, Little Dolphins, and the Resin Boys. Together they were a scourge across Cairn. Basing out of Cimarron, they didn't even bother to siege the existing residents, choosing instead to monopolize the spawns, and raiding anybody who interfered relentlessly. Recently, though, on the southern tip of Cairn, the flame of the old guard has been lit. An alliance between the Lords of Death, Sinister, Sick Bastards, and Furia has formed, and they've taken up residence in the symbolic stronghold of Kalfardar. And since their arrival, Cairn has been alight with conflict. Brutal and Flames had to say on the matter that at the moment, we have no political goals, but everyone on Cairn is our enemy. In the other camp, the word from Furia was that at this point Cairn is a war zone, but we expect it to become a safe place to live and grow our banks, while a leader from Sick Bastards added that I do not believe we have a political goal. Over the years, Sick Bastard has been a spearhead for most major wars, and currently that is not something we are interested in. However, times in Darkfall do change, and as the game moves on, Sick Bastards may come out of the shadows to help those who call for us, and we will always defend ourselves from those who threaten us. In other news, an anonymous vandal has made Agon's most wanted this week by trying to block off the bank at Sanguine with multiple personal strongboxes, including one back here in the back. And a suggestion was made to move the popular trading hub of Sanguine to Espenhall, but it fell largely on deaf ears.
Now for a more detailed look at siege warfare and the politics that go into it. Sieges are contests between two or more clans or alliances for control of holdings. Attacking forces must wager gold and equipment to siege a holding, and once the siege has been declared, both sides have a day to prepare for the upcoming fight. Once the designated time arrives, the defenders have a chance at destroying the attackers' siege stones and ending the siege. If they fail to do this, their holding becomes vulnerable, and they must prevent the attackers from taking it. ANN correspondent Luna Slanish has been following the recent series of sieges involving the clans of Putin and Outlaws. Late on June 20th, Putin declared war on Outlaws and brought a group into Kaxla, their main holding. It quickly became apparent that this was no simple raid, and Outlaws and their allies decided to treat the incursion as a possible siege drop. They pushed out and began a short battle to stall the drop. Outlaws then took their party through a portal to Uqtu to drop a counter-siege. Outlaws stated that if they won Uqtu, they would sell the holding. The siege began the next evening, June 21st, and Putin's forces wiped the attackers at the siege stone, located in the mountains nearby, within 10 to 20 minutes. Both sides left the siege respectfully, with good fight wishes all around. More violence was to come, though, as the night ended with Putin declaring a siege upon Outlaws' Karen holding, Teneland. Early in the evening of June 22nd, the politics began. Sinister and Sick Bastards discussed helping Outlaws if the siege moved past a simple alliance versus alliance. Outlaws ended up allying Dunrats alongside Ironwrath and Memento Mori. The attackers were not seen until 40 minutes before the siege was scheduled to start. Minor skirmishes began around the stone, and the forces of Putin were pushed back, which forced them to regroup. The group of Sinister and Sick Bastards, in turn, decided to side with Putin, along with Midnight Nation, and isolated members of Gentlemen. It was mere minutes before the start of the siege when the attackers appeared alongside an isolated members of Yerma Will Do, Lords of Death, IKMC, Against All Odds, Google Me, St. Tazos Adepts, and Furia, who had decided to join the fray. The massive battle played out in the favor of the defenders, who were able to kill enough of the attacking to force the remainder to flee. The Outlaws secured a victory for the defense, and once again the leaders parted with good sportsmanship and promise of possible future fights. Meanwhile, on the cold and unforgiving subcontinent of Niflheim, a surprise attack was underway on the hamlet of Uqtu, owned by Vox Machina. A siege was dropped by Washed Up with no warning. ANN correspondent Whisper Forever reached out to Vox Machina's Supreme General Grog Strongjaw for comment. Grog believed that Washed Up had targeted Uqtu for its mine, which makes the hamlet quite valuable. On the evening of June 23rd, the battle was joined, with Washed Up reaching the hamlet an hour before the siege went live. They pushed in aggressively on both the hamlet and the nearby city of Los Undelik, harassing the locals who were trying to form up for the siege. An hour later, the fight started in earnest. Vox Machina's allies, Jokers, arrived, along with Bellicose, who had agreed to send aid, and Washed Up quickly engaged the defense force. The battle was in the attackers' favor until Midnight Nation arrived, who began to third-party the fight, but eventually sided with Vox Machina and the rest of the defense. Ironwrath made an appearance as well, and decided to side with Washed Up. The battle for the hamlet was intense, but the defenders were able to split off a select few from their force, who traveled to the siege stones and destroyed them, winning the siege. Shortly after, the Washed Up and Ironwrath force was overrun and pushed out of the hamlet. And now, we want to highlight some of the best PvP videos we've seen so far. Up first is Maharam God King, showing off that new Maharam reach in Animal, a god of PvP.
We're still young.
Next up is the solo showcase from B. Jangy, fixed on Tuesday, fixed on test.
Bam bam, mon ça se passe, j'ai sur mon lit à bouffer sa langue en buvant grand mon whisky. Quant à moi, peu dormi, vie débris, mais j'ai dû dormir dans la gouttière où j'ai eu un flash. En 4 couleurs. Allez hop, un matin, une louloute et une...
And finally, Uhtred Ragnarsson brings new meaning to the term hard carry in Uhtred Darkfall ROA PvP 2.
My heart is gold and my hands are cold.
From the jungles of Yassam, there may be dangers lurking behind you. Is it a raptor? Is it a wild tribe? Nope. Ciro-Nis. And here's a clip from our very own ANN correspondent, So Bad Strange, making a startling revelation.
2.99. I don't even... Stamina health, you guys. There it is, dude. 3.74. Maybe... Should that go on my bar? Why not, dude? Let's go ahead and cast that, you guys. Let's see how much that heals me for. Let's get that heal self. Guys, this will be my first time casting Stamina to Health since day 1 of Darkfall when I decided, oh my god, that actually is healing for a lot, bro. Look at all that health I'm getting. Holy shit, you guys, transfers OP, dude. You heard it here first for the first time, dude. World first fucking Stamina to Health, you guys. Cast that shit, bro. That heals you.
ANN's very own Mad the Maddest sat down with Rise of Agon player Reptar to discuss the political landscape and current meta of the game. Here's a brief sample of the podcast.
Like your overall, the overall political scene.
Yes, I do think there needs to be a bad guy. If that bad guy comes in the form of a single merc clan that makes a big enough impact that the server feels the need to go against them, or if that is an alliance or just a small Zerg, there does need to be some antagonist on the server.
Yeah, you think
everyone fills, or that role is always filled by someone.
Right.
You can listen to the full podcast by clicking on the link in the description. And that's all for this episode. Remember to send in your stories to ann@bpgstudios.com or message our reporters on Discord. For the Agon News Network, this is Talfmaid Willows signing off. Until next time, don't forget to use your transfers.